I don't look at it like I struggled or he struggled. They had a good game plan, making us get off the ball. Especially for me, man, it was super in the gaps. I made the right play all night, so I don't really look at it like I struggled. I didn't get enough shots to say I struggled, so that might be how you guys look at it. But yeah, I didn't struggle at all. I made the right play.
Here's my deal. Are you the superstar player you proclaim to be or not? The fact of the matter is that Ant-Man is special. We all know this. And you saw how special Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was. That individual pride is what I was looking for. I don't want to hear something like, I made the right play.
The Windman joining us now. Brian Windhorst, great to have you with us. And Windy, I'll start with you. What's your response to what Stephen A. had to say about Ant's performance in Game 4?
I've got PTSD from LeBron James, his first conference finals back in 2007, when he got double teamed in the paint frequently by a great Detroit Pistons defense, and he would kick the ball to open teammates who were not as good as the teammates that Ant Edwards now has on the Timberwolves, and him getting roasted for that. And I'm scarred. I'm scarred from that, because I watched a game where the Timberwolves really had a terrific offensive game. They had 126 points. They shot over 50%. In the fourth quarter of this game, they scored 41 points against one of the best defenses of the last decade, if not more. They double-teamed him 100% of the time he penetrated and drove the ball. Their entire apparatus was designed at forcing him to give it up. He gave it up, and their offense thrived. Now, if you want to say, Stephen A. or Mad Dog, that you think that he could have had a bigger impact on the game, that he could have done some things to put more of his stamp on it, I don't disagree with that. But I can't get frustrated with a player who helped his team play brilliant offense by making smart basketball decisions. I will point out that Julius Randle was 1 of 7 in this game with 5 turnovers, and that Randle is averaging 3 assists in this series. And one of the big things they got to do tonight is get the ball out of Ant's hands so he can operate with more space. But I cannot criticize Ant for leading to great offensive basketball by his team.
Well, Anthony Edwards had 5 turnovers too. So he had 6 assists, 5 turnovers. I know making the right play is the right thing to do most of the time. I often say, and I've had this happen, and I've seen great players talk about it. There's one thing, especially for a guy like Anthony Edwards, right? It was one of the earlier games where he had 13 points and he barely took any shots in the game, and we talked about being more active. So, like, I am going to say that whenever you're a great player, when you're on the verge of becoming a great player, every time that you don't impact winning, your game is going to struggle. I mean, I just want you to think about it for a second. The visual, and you could say keeping it real, whatever it is, of me after a loss saying, well, I don't think I really had a bad game, or I don't think I really struggled. I made the right play. How does that come across, Wendy?
Yeah, he didn't take
How does that come across when you are the star
I don't
player?
care about his quotes.
What do you mean? That's what we're talking about. That's the whole point of the conversation. When your lead player, your star, your dog, who is talking and built into everything, then after a game, that's the bigger point to me, says, well, I don't think I struggled.
Why did they lose the game?
Excuse me?
Jay, why did they lose the game? Why did they lose the game?
I'm not saying he's the main point or the main reason why they lost the game, Brian. I'm just saying when you're the lead dog, when you say, you got to think about how that sounds. You got to think about where you are from a leadership perspective. Right. You can't say that. You are him. If you're going to be him, him is inclusive of everything. You know what I mean, Stephen A?
What should he have said in that moment, Jay? Like, how should he have handled that as the leader?
We all need to be better. I need to be better. Like, it's just little things like that. You don't say, I didn't struggle. You know, that's not how I determine struggle. They were in gaps. It then sounds like you're being passive. That's not what you want from your lead guy.
Stephen A., did that bother you?
Yeah, it did. Y'all can leave us up on the screen, but figuratively speaking, I need everybody to move aside as I lock in on Wendy. Because I want Wendy up on the screen. I want to see him when I say this, because I love this man. I'm proud to have him on First Take. But there are moments where Wendy absolutely drives me crazy. Because for the life of me, I get your point. You know who you remind me of, Wendy? You're the Larry Brown of the media. You understand? The Larry Brown, everything's about playing the right way. Everything's about playing the right way. Damn it, sometimes it don't matter. Now, if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was not on the opposition, dropping 40, 10, and 9, I'd feel you. And I understand that their offense was effective. I get it. You're looking at things in totality. I'm looking at things in a moment. I'm looking at when Oklahoma City went on a spurt. And it kept, every time you inch closer, all of a sudden they'd peel it back and they'd put you down 7. They'd put you down 9. They'd put you down 11. It wouldn't let you get closer. At some point in time, it's about you. It's about you. When you go to a negotiating table and you say, yo, I'm worth 50 mil. It ain't to play the right way. It's when things are going wrong, I'm the dude that's going to make it right. That's why LeBron is who he is. That's why Steph is who he is. That's why Kobe is who he was. That's why MJ is who he was. That's why the superstars are the superstars. Because when things ain't right, ain't neatly packaged, and everything is kosher, everything is straight up, and when it ain't that way, somehow, some way, you got the ability to make amends. We're not saying that Ant-Man had an awful game. What we're saying is 13 shot attempts, 16 points on your home turf, with you on the verge of falling to an insurmountable 3-1 deficit, with the dude that got league MVP in front of your face dropping 40, with Jalen Williams, his sidekick, dropping 34, 13 shot attempts. What do we complain about with James Harden? The moneymaker, one of the most prolific scorers the game has ever seen. You wait until game 6 and 7 to attempt 9 and 10 shots. We didn't get on him for the amount of points he scored. We got on him because where's the attempts? Ant-Man attempts 20 shots a game. 20. He averaged nearly 28 a game. He hit 323 pointers, led the NBA in 3-pointers made this season. In that game on your home court with a 3-1 deficit staring you dead in the face, you attempt 13 shots and you say, I made the right play. I understand that it's accurate to some degree. I'm just simply saying, when you're that dude, that ain't enough. Clearly it wasn't enough because they lost. At some point in time, it's about move the hell out the way. I'm going to do whatever I got to do, defensively, offensively, whatever it takes. I'm going to do what I got to do. That's all I'm saying. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Brian, you are completely right. These two are lost. If there was a scenario at the end of that game, and remember, Minnesota never had the ball with the chance to take the lead. If there was a situation in Game 4 where he passed up the game-winning shot that thought about DiVincenzo, they'd be right. They scored whatever they scored. They shot the ball well. Do I love the comments after the game? He's 23 years old. And ESPN, more than anybody else, has put him on a pedestal, the face of the league, which is the biggest bunch of garbage I've ever heard in my life, and I think that hurts
That's
him.
not garbage.
Oh, yes, it is.
The brother's special.
Yes, it is. I don't want to hear about the nonsense.
I agree with you on that.
Nonsense.
I agree with you on that,
The guy's never
doggy.
played in the final, was outshined badly by Luka, and all we ever do is say he's the next. No, he's not the face of the league. He plays in Minnesota, and they've never been in a final, and they almost got swept in a conference final last year. Let's take it easy. Will you please take it easy? Face of the league. That's LeBron. That's Bird. That's Jordan.
No.
That's a high
we didn't
level.
say
He's
he
not
was.
at that level.
We didn't say he was. We didn't say he was.
The next
we
face
said,
of the
we
league.
said
Stop
that
with the
when
next
you took,
face
when
of the
you
league.
The next.
Oh, nonsense.
If you're not
Next face. Win something. Win something.
If you
and then
said,
you
if you
can
said,
say that.
if you,
Win something.
Oh, please. Or whatever.
Win something.
Be quiet. This is who he sent home. This is who he sent home. He sent home Kevin Durant. He sent home Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Jokic, Jamal Murray, and now LeBron and Luka. I mean, damn. We can't say next. We can't say next. Hold on. We can't say next.
No, you can't.
We can't say next. Well, LeBron is second team All-NBA.
LeBron
is second team All-NBA. He's still a superstar in this league. He's still a superstar in this league. LeBron didn't play like a superstar in this league.
Will you be quiet?
I agree.
And thank you very much.
We're not talking about face of the league. We're talking about the game, not face of the league. The game, the game. Why did they lose
that's what
the
he brought
game?
up.
We're not talking about perception. We're not talking about riding down the court on a stallion. You got to win the game. The reason they lost the game was because they couldn't get stops, because they kept turning the ball over, and because they couldn't rebound. That's why they lost the game. They had 126 points and shot 51%. He has like 6 or 7 playoff games in his career where he scored 40 points. We know he can score. You need him to win. It doesn't. If he had scored 45 and they lost, okay, let me just ask you this. So what you're saying, by your logic, if he had not taken 13 shots and he had taken 30, okay? Because, by the way, Shea was 13 of 30 in this game. He got to the foul line a lot. It was a great game. Don't get me wrong. Let's say he takes 30 shots and he goes 13 of 30. And instead of scoring 126 points, they score 110. And so instead of losing 128 to 126, they lose 128 to 110, but he scores 35. You're telling me, by your logic, that's the better performance. That's what you want?
No.
No, it's not what people want.
What I'm saying, no, tell me. I'm not saying, see, that's slick. That's slick on your part. You're talking to a basketball mind as well. You ain't getting away with that nonsense.
Get him, Steven.
That's not what I'm saying. No, you're not right, because you're interpreting what I'm saying, and that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if this dude does what we're accustomed to seeing him do, guess what? You don't see as many turnovers. Guess what? You don't see as many missed shots. You actually see him be more effective. What if you're making those 3-point shots? Guess
He's
what?
going
It
to
ain't
triple
rebounds
teams.
that they can sit up there and push the ball over. Wait a minute. I understand it, but the point that I'm trying to make. Hold it.
Okay, go ahead.
Is he facing something that he didn't face at some other point in the playoffs or the regular season?
Yeah, better team.
No, but
he faced him in the regular season. Okay.
No, and that's an issue with the team, and that's an issue with Julius Randle. But that's the challenge when you play a great team.
Stephen, just to add to your point, because I'm on your side here, all of a sudden, like, now getting double teamed is the reason why guys are being stopped. We've seen a lot of superstars get double teamed. By the way, you can give the ball up and give it right back and force the defense to rotate. You can do that multiple times throughout the course of a game.
And we're playing against this team.
Do they have a second-grade player in that team, Minnesota? They do not. They do not.
If you can figure out a way to win game 3 by 40 plus,
they got 64 points from their bench.
It's not they don't have a great
if you can figure out a way to win game 3 by 40 plus, you can figure out a way to win a game on your home turf to avoid a 3-1 deficit.
I miss
by
this type of
points.
debate on
You're
first
right.
day.
You can do that.
You're right, Stephen.
Nonsense.
You're
This is
right.
good. This is
You are
great.
right.
Nonsense.
All right.
Nonsense. Wendy, good job.
I'm trying to pivot the conversation to the face of the league.
Oh,
We're talking about right now. Ant-Man costing the Timberwolves.
Mad
All
Dog
right, let's
Radio.
see what
I'm
happens
gonna be like
tonight.
Vanderbilt.
Game 5
Thumbs
of the
up.
NBA
Thumbs up.
Western Conference Finals
Thumbs
is tonight back in OKC. SGA and the Thunder host Ant-Man and the Timberwolves. 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. OKC up 3 games to 1. The Countdown crew tipping off our coverage at 7:30. I feel triggered by the word superstar.